What if your computer could run faster today than it did a year ago using the same hardware? Tiny 11 25H2 v14 makes that real. It's stable, includes the new Windows K2 update, and even has a low latency mode built in. I'll show you exactly what changed and why it matters. Hello and welcome to HT. And if you're one of our regular viewers, welcome back. Today we're putting Tiny 11 25H2 version 14 head-to-head against Windows 11 and seeing exactly how they compare. If you want to get your hands on this OS, the link is waiting for you in the pinned comment, along with a link to the full installation video on our channel, Apidus. Before we get into it, you should know this is a premium build, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. Take a look at the screen for everything included, and you'll see why it's worth it. Let's start with something everyone notices right away: the number of pre-installed apps. Windows 11 hands you a crowded start menu packed with pins and recommendations you never asked for. 34 apps come pre-installed, and most of them you can't even remove. That's Windows 11 for you, cluttered and unfocused before you've even opened a single program. Tiny 11 takes the opposite approach. The start menu is clean, no pinned apps, no recommended apps, zero pre-installed apps, period, which means you decide what goes on your PC, not Microsoft. Now let's talk storage. Windows 11 eats up 37.8 gigabytes on a fresh install. That's space gone before you've installed a single program of your own. Tiny 11, on the other hand, takes up just 7.05 gigabytes after installation. That's dramatically smaller, and it leaves you with way more room for your actual files and apps. Next up, the test everyone loves to watch: idle RAM usage. Windows 11 sits at 2.7 gigabytes of RAM usage on a 4 GB machine, doing absolutely nothing. That's more than half your memory gone before you've opened a thing. Open a couple of Chrome tabs and the whole system can grind to a halt. Tiny 11 doesn't have that problem. It idles at just 1.5 gigabytes on the same 4 GB setup, noticeably lighter. And if even that feels like too much, there's a fix. Open Velotic Pro, head to the cleanup page, and turn on AI RAM cleaning. Within seconds, your RAM usage drops all the way down to 0.6 gigabytes. If you want a cleaner install, lower RAM usage, and a system free of bloat, Velotic is the tool for the job. It's not sponsored, by the way. We built it ourselves. Velotic is a Windows utility that brings your PC maintenance into one place. Let me show you what it does. The dashboard. A clear readout of your system, processor, memory, storage. The information you need without opening half a dozen menus. Gaming. Velotic adjusts settings to improve frame rates and configure your GPU for games. The changes are applied for you. No manual registry edits, no guessing which toggle matters. Automatic cleanup. When your system needs it, Velotic frees RAM and removes junk files. It runs quietly in the background. You set your preferences and leave it alone. Debloat. Choose a pre-built profile or create your own. Remove bundled software and services you do not want. Windows stays, just leaner, closer to how you prefer it. App installs. Search for software inside Velotic and install directly. One step, one source. No third-party download sites, no extra installers bundled in. Compression and power tuning. Compress disk data to recover space, up to 70% on supported files with no noticeable performance hit. Separate tools tune the CPU for lower heat and better battery life on portable machines. 500 plus tweaks. Fine-grained control over how Windows behaves. Every change is optional. Use as many or as few as you want. Everything in one application. Cleanup, debloating, installs, compression, tweaks, normally scattered across separate tools. Velotic combines them. Early bird access is linked below. Windows 11 to Tiny 11. Open debloat, select Tiny 11, press play. Velotic manages the full debloat from start to finish. That is the workflow most users come for. Velotic is available now at early bird pricing, link in the description. Back to the benchmarks. Let's look at CPU usage on both systems. Windows 11 is running 156 processes, 2,100 threads, and 64,000 handles just sitting idle. That's a lot happening in the background for a system doing nothing. Tiny 11 runs 90 processes, 1,300 threads, and 32,000 handles on that exact same machine. Significantly lower across the board. and that translates into better temperatures, higher FPS in games, and lower latency overall. Now for the real-world test, GeekBench 6, this is where the gap really shows up. Windows 11 scores 2,272 in single-core and 5,469 in multi-core. Run that same test on that same hardware with Tiny 11, and you get 2,406 in single-core and 6,784 in multi-core. Same machine, same test. One clearly comes out ahead. We'll drop the links to these benchmark results in the description so you can go check the numbers yourself. Let's move into configuration. Windows Defender works perfectly fine on Tiny 1125H2 version 14. It's disabled by default, so it isn't running in the background flagging false positives and slowing you down. But if you want it on, you can enable it in just a few clicks. Open the Configure app, head to the Defender section, and click Enable. That's it. Windows Defender is now active. You can double check it in the Security Center if you want to be sure. Now updates. Security updates are enabled by default. That means only critical security patches install in the background, while everything else stays paused. You can turn on the rest if you need to, but keep in mind that unpausing updates can mean Microsoft quietly reinstalls bloatware along the way. You do have the option to disable updates entirely from the Configure app, but we don't recommend it since turning off all updates ends up breaking the Microsoft Store. Speaking of which, the Microsoft Store works on Tiny 11 exactly like it does on any other version of Windows. Since Tiny 11 ships with no pre-installed apps, you'll need the store to grab everyday tools like Notepad, Calculator, and Snipping Tool. Just open it up like normal, search for what you need, hit Get, and installation starts right away. If you've got a Microsoft or Xbox account, you can sign in and pull up everything you've already purchased. And once it's installed, something as simple as Notepad runs without a hitch. Now for the test Tiny 11 is best known for, running it on just 256 megabytes of RAM. For some perspective, 256 megabytes of RAM was standard hardware roughly 25 to 30 years ago, back in the 1990s. And here we are in 2026 watching a modern build boot up and run on that exact same amount. It's not going to be fast, and speed was never the point. The point is proving just how far this can be pushed. And when we say stable, we mean it. It doesn't crash, even running on 256 megabytes of RAM. We've kept our promise to you. Now it's your turn. Like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The purchase link for Tiny 11 is sitting in the pinned comment. What you're paying for is security and support, things you simply won't find in other builds. Yes, free versions exist out there, but they come with risk. They're either unstable, broken, or hiding malware you can't see. Here's the simple truth. You get a safe, stable OS built for real work and daily use. And if anything goes wrong, we're right there to help. So grab it now before the deal disappears. Thanks for watching. This is the Harbor of Tech sailing off.